Whilst we were filming this video, the CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman, was arrested. Following the filing of criminal accusations by U.S. authorities, police in the Bahamas detained FTX founder SBF in preparation of an extradition request, according to the nation's Attorney General.
The current CEO of FTX, John Ray, and ousted CEO Sam Bankman-Fried are expected to testify in front of the House tomorrow.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, and John J. Ray III, the current CEO of FTX, have both been invited to come and speak at what Congress is referring to as its investigation into the collapse of FTX Part 1 on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. John J. Ray, the current CEO of FTX, made his statement 24 hours beforehand, as is customary, at least from his perspective. While there are still many unanswered questions, we do know the following 6 things. We'll discuss what SBF is likely to say based on what he has previously said and how he is currently training in today's video as I walk you through its 24 hours in advance. SBF didn't even seem to be making an effort or devoting any time to risk management on FTX. Additionally, Jay Clayton, a former chair of the SEC, will provide some insight into his thoughts on what he believes is likely to occur based on his experience in that role. Therefore, John J. Ray, the current CEO of FTX, will speak on the first panel for Congress tomorrow after SBF. So let's begin with what John J. Ray is most likely to say. First off, keep in mind that John J. Ray III said that FTX had no payroll accounts. This is accurate, and it will probably be brought up in the hearings tomorrow. An excerpt from FTX's Section 11 bankruptcy filing reveals that the company had no in-house accounting staff. Not to add that Sam Bankman-Fried recently disclosed to Bloomberg Business that he performed the accounting for FTX in his mind. Quote, "I was real lazy about the mental math." We'll discuss this tactic in more detail later. John J. Ray's announcement for tomorrow also includes 6 important topics. Let's quickly go over them. While there are still many unanswered questions and many unknowns at this point, many industry experts believe that Sam Bankman's release is doomed if John J. Ray's testimony on these 6 points is used as evidence tomorrow. So, what are the 6 bombshell revelations that John J. Ray, the current CEO of FTX, will make in his prepared statement for the hearing tomorrow? Number 1, customer assets from FTX were co-mingled with assets from Alameda trading platform. Number 2, Alameda used client funds to engage in margin trading, which exposed customer funds to massive losses. Number 3, the FTX group went on a spending binge in late 2021 through 2022, during which approximately $5 billion was spent by buying a myriad of businesses and investments, many of which may be worth only a fraction of what was paid for them. Number 4, 4 loans and other payments were made to insiders in excess of $1 billion. Number 5, FTX stored certain private keys to crypto assets without effective security controls. Number 6, FTX used computer infrastructure that gave senior management access to systems that stored customer assets. Once more, a lot of people are speculating that SBF's release may be over. Shocking news, while we're filming this video, he was arrested by Bahamas police. Following the filing of criminal charges by U.S. authorities, the country's Attorney General stated that the founder of FTX, SBF, would likely face an extradition request. Let's discuss how SBF will probably respond to such serious claims, provided he is still able to zoom in on the hearing tomorrow. Before Gary Gensler, let's go to Jay Clayton, a former chair of the SEC rather than merely an attorney or a man of the law. If anyone can shed some light on this, it's this man.
If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are happening.
Not here. Here it says that the digital assets may not be loaned to FTX trading. They can't be loaned out.
What do you think Sam Bankman-Fried will say or do now that he is testifying before Congress? That is the question meant for Jay Clayton.
Is this going to be different when he's testifying actually before Congress? Will there be more "I don't recalls" instead of more I didn't didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I mean, he's got to tell the absolute truth now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think there'll be more of the same, but then there'll be more, Joe. There's a lot going on in these congressional hearings. People will be trying to get to the bottom of what happened. Did it happen because it was offshore? Would it have happened in the U.S.? But then there's a lot of other things. I mean, members of Congress are not constrained in what they're able to ask.
It was Andrew. Were you, Andrew? I don't think you were concerned.
Nope.
If someone says, did you knowingly commingle customer funds with Alameda? What did he say to you when you asked him that? He's like, it was like nebulous.
FTX trading does not represent or treat digital assets and users' accounts as belonging to FTX trading. So how is it possible that Alameda had this loan of such a large size?
So there's that piece from the terms of service, but there were a number of other parts of the terms of service and a number of other parts of the platform on top of that. There is the borrow lending facility.
But just make this very straight. Was there commingling of funds? That's what it appears like. It appears like there's been a genuine commingling of the funds that are of FTX customers that were not supposed to be commingled with your separate firm.
I didn't knowingly commingle funds.
If someone says, did you knowingly commingle customer funds with Alameda? What did he say to you when you asked him that? He's like, it was like nebulous the way doesn't he have to give a more?
He didn't give if we didn't get to a yes or no.
That's what I mean. So does he do it? I don't recall now? What does he do? I know people do I don't recall again and again and again.
I think one of the reasons this is going to be so interesting and why we're talking about today is we will see. We'll see how he handles those questions under that kind of pressure. One of the things that makes you a good witness in front of Congress is whether you're coming off as authentic or not. And that is actually a very important part of preparing for these types of hearings.
In light of that, everyone will be keeping an eye out for it tomorrow. Do you believe SBF will come off as sincere and genuine during the hearing tomorrow? Do you believe SBF has so far come across as genuine? To my knowledge, I have basically nothing left. Basically everything I had was invested in business. I expect I'm gonna have nothing at the end of this. I ain't got $100,000 left in my bank account last I checked, and I think I have, one credit card working with that right now, according to Sam. This summer, he believed he had 32 billion, but mostly 20, and significantly more than he does currently. Going from $20 billion to $100,000 is an experience one person can't even begin to fathom. Indeed, in many ways, it has been a really humiliating descent, said Sam. I thought of Jay Clayton's question to a CNBC analyst. If SBF lies to Congress, if he perjured himself, what happens? It was excellent because it's not always clear whether SBF is being completely truthful.
Happens.
Well, I mean, perjury is perjury, and you're not.
That's why I don't recall. It's going to be more than no, I didn't do anything.
I am sure that he is preparing thoroughly and going through a fair amount of what is referred to as murder boarding, Q&A. What how would you respond to this? That's a big part of preparing for a hearing like this.
It is highly possible that SBF has been diligently planning to respond to Congress's inquiries in a particular manner throughout the entire period. We'll be covering this every day this week, so be sure to subscribe and enable YouTube notifications. We'll keep you up to date on anything cryptocurrency related.